Katie Tsang.
And I'm Kevin Tsang.
We are the author of Dragon Mountain. This is a proof copy, so you will be able to get the full, gorgeous, finished copy showing off all of our dragons.
It's true.
So we want to tell you a little bit about the book, introduce you to the dragons, do a brief reading, and then
we might interview each other.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty exciting. Kevin, do you want to, because we don't have the cover, do you want to show?
Ooh, yes. How about I tell you all about our book and the dragons? So, Dragon Mountain has dragons in it, and there are 4 main dragons. So let me introduce you to them. There is Tank, a warrior dragon. Roar! There is Xing, who's super speedy. She is a seeker dragon. There is Spark. Yes, Flap Flap, who is a seer dragon. And then there is Buttons, who loves humans, and Buttons is a healer dragon.
So imagine on the cover, all 4 of them. There'll probably be a link down below where you can see it, but all 4. Oh, you know what? Wait.
It looks kind of like...
No, watch. Look. Ta-da! All 4 of them together. Dragon Mountain is a big, exciting adventure. As Kevin said, there are 4 dragons, but there are also 4 children who are our kind of key characters, and they all meet. I think you did that as well.
Just in case there's 4
that's
of them.
8 actually. 4 plus 4 is 8.
But there's 4 dragons and 4 humans.
Yeah. And the 4 kids are Billy Chan, who is from California, and he's dual heritage Chinese and American. Charlotte Bell, who is from Atlanta, Georgia. Dylan O'Donnell, who's from Galway in Ireland, and Ling-Fei, who is from China. Now, these 4 don't know each other before the start of the book. Then they meet at a camp in the mountains in the middle of nowhere in China, and then they discover a mountain with these 4 dragons in it. An adventure and excitement ensues.
Yeah, and it's up to them to essentially save the world.
Yeah. They have to battle a really big, baddie, evil dragon and save the world, save the human and dragon realms. To give you a little taste of the book, we're gonna read to you from the intro. Oh, I'm gonna have to sneeze. No sneezing. False alarm.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The mountain. Mountains always have secrets, and this one had more than most. Tall and majestic, with jagged peaks that punctured the sky, it appeared unknowable and immovable. And yet, if you were to watch it and not just glance at it, really watch it, it would sometimes appear to be breathing. If you stared long enough, you'd start to think that it was a different mountain altogether. One person had been watching this mountain for a very, very long time, and he had decided it was time for the mountain to show off its secrets.
Deep within the mountain, a great creature stirred in its sleep. Its eyes rolled back in its head, and its wings jerked wide open. It suddenly sat straight up, trying to remember what it had seen in the nightmare. Darkness. All it saw was darkness and desolation. The creature shuddered and closed its eyes, trying to go back to sleep. It had been waiting for something, for someone, for a long time. It could wait longer. To find out what happens next, you will have to read Dragon Mountain. Dragon Mountain is also the first in a series, the Dragon Realm series. So Dragon Mountain is out now, and Dragon Legend, the sequel, will be out in March, and then there'll be a 3rd one coming out the following September. So we hope you get, enjoy the book and want to follow our dragons on all of their adventures.
Yes.
Oh, do you want to do an interview? We've never done this. Pretty exciting.
Okay, you ready?
Interview time. Let's go.
What was your favorite thing about writing Dragon Mountain?
Ooh, good question. Also, I realized Kevin and I haven't explained this about ourselves. So we are co-authors, but we're also married and parents and have a baby. So, I think my favorite thing about writing Dragon Mountain with you was probably coming up with our 4 dragons. Kevin and I spent a long time doing that. We wanted each of the dragons to look different. We wanted their personalities to be different. We wanted their powers to be different. So neither of us, unfortunately, are especially gifted drawers. But we spent a lot of time trying to draw what we thought the different various dragons would look like. Did you enjoy that part as well?
Yeah, I love that part. I really actually, for the dragons, I really loved coming up with what they each hoarded. because I felt like the Horde told so much about the dragons.
Yeah, and don't know spoilers. No spoilers. You can't talk about what they each hoard because that's too spoilery.
And I won't tell you any spoilers, but they all have hordes.
And they're all very different and distinctive and play into each of the different dragons.
Yeah.
Buttons might give you a little hint. What Buttons hordes?
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No, that wasn't. So we wanted to come up with absolutely everything. I think probably, I know you didn't ask this, but my least favorite part of writing the book and thinking about it was trying to make sure that all the magic makes sense and all of the like rules of like, why are these dragons trapped in this mountain? Kevin and I had to figure out a lot of different scenarios, but I think in the end we nailed it. And I love coming up with the 4 kids and figuring out which kid would pair with each dragon.
That might not, you know what, that might not be my favorite part, the like coming up with the world, but that was definitely like up there. Maybe even tied. And
Kevin is much better than I am at world building, so at one point in the book, you may or may not go into a whole new realm, the dragon realm, and Kevin really led on coming up with that, about just thinking, what would a world entirely populated by dragons look like and be like, and that was a lot of fun to kind of explore in that. I have to ask you what everyone always asks us, who is your favorite dragon out of our 4 dragons?
Ooh, oh, it's hard to choose. They're all so good. They all have, well, they're like different. They all have like it's like, you know, I could be one dragon one day and another dragon another day. I think I'd have to go with Xing, who is just so speedy. She's so speedy and very, very sassy. And I just like to hang out with Xing.
She's a lot of fun to write. I love Xing a lot too.
Her horde is super cool as well.
Yeah, you'll see when you read the book. And then for anyone who's not sure what a horde is, it's a thing that dragons hoard. It's like their treasure. It's their treasure. And that was something that we wanted to include because in lots of different dragons, myths, and legends, dragons tend to have big, giant hordes. And so we wanted to put our spin on it. I love Xing too. I also love Tank, who, as Kevin said, is a warrior dragon and is super big and fierce and strong. But then Spark is just kind of mysterious. And I love that she's a seer dragon, which means she can see into the future. I think that's really interesting. I think I like the way when we were coming up with what Spark looked like, that was really fun. We wanted her to be a blend of kind of the more traditional Eastern dragon, which is what Xing is, as well as kind of the more traditional dragon that you see in European legends, like what Tank looks like, and Spark kind of combined both of those. She's a very beautiful dragon. And Buttons is definitely our funniest one, I think.
Yeah.
So really, I love all of them. But I think if I had to choose one to fly on, maybe one to be like my pair dragon, I don't know, maybe Spark. I don't know. I can't wait to hear from all of you who your favorite dragon is. If and when you read the books, we'd love to know. So let us know on Instagram or Twitter. And we'd love to know, separate from your favorite dragon out of our 4 dragons, if you were to come up with your own dragon, you know, what would that dragon look like? You know, if you want to write us a little paragraph or if you want to draw it, I bet all of you are much better drawers than we are. One thing that Kevin and I did when we were telling our cover designer, Peter Antonsen, you know, what our dragons looked like, we actually went online and looked at loads of different pictures of dragons, and then we sent over like a combination, like a head like this, you know, wings like this.
Yeah, it was great. It was there's so many types of dragons out there, and there was so much to draw inspiration from, which, you know, I suppose I need to ask the question, what would your dragon be like if you were to bond with one?
My dragon would look like Spark because I love designing Spark.
It would be like Spark.
My dragon would look like Spark. So Spark here has really big kind of like bat-like wings, and she kind of crackles with electricity, and she has these glowing horns, and she's blue and gold, and she is really has a lot of speed and agility and power. So I think like if I were to draw one, my dream dragon would look like Spark. I think actually I would want a dragon that looked like Spark with the personality of Xing. So as Kevin said, Xing is very sassy, and you think maybe that she doesn't like you, but then she actually has a really kind heart inside of her sassy exterior.
I think like if I like the dragon I bonded with would look kind of like Xing, kind of serpent-like. Would you keep it silver and gold, or would you make it a different color? Ooh, I don't know. Let's come back to that. I need to think about the colors, but it would be, the dragon would have huge wings though. So instead of like Xing has like some tiny wings, but like my dragon would have huge wings. So like Xing. Spark wings on Xing. Yeah. I love how Kevin and I created 4 dragons. We're like, but let's combine the ones that we are.
Okay, next question. I feel like otherwise we'll spend this whole time just talking about all the various different dragons we could make by combining our existing dragons and thinking of all the different options for dragons.
They're endless options.
So we can't wait to see what anyone watching comes up with when they kind of design their own dragon. And don't forget, it's not just what the dragon looks like, but also their power and also what their personality traits would be. And of course, give them a name. Names are very important in dragon lore and dragon history. But kind of going back in time, I want to know what you wanted to be when you were a little kid. When you grew up, what did you want to be?
Ooh, great question. I loved going to the dentist when I was little. Absolutely loved it. I don't know why. Really liked having clean teeth. So I super wanted to be a dentist when I grew up. I felt like, I like for some reason had this view of them wearing white coats. And anyways, that didn't pan out. And then I wanted to be an astronaut. And I've actually ended up now being a management consultant and an author, which is great.
So management consultant is someone who is able to advise on lots of different things.
Yeah. Basically, I work with businesses.
And also, more excitingly, you write books with me, which is very fun. When you're talking about a dentist, made me imagine, what if dragons had dentists?
Oh my gosh, I would not want to be a dragon dentist, let's be clear.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a story in that, though. Maybe this is what's so fun about being an author. You just get ideas. And you're like, maybe I'll make that in an entire book. So not in Dragon Mountain. Spoiler: there are no dentists. But I don't know. Maybe one day we will write about a dragon dentist. Really have to watch out for fire breath.
And things caught between their teeth.
Yeah, lots to worry about as a dragon dentist. I've always wanted to be an author, actually. I feel very lucky to do it. It's my dream job. I've always loved stories and books, and it was something that I didn't think I'd be able to do, but I'm so grateful that I am. So anyone watching who wants to be an author, you can definitely do it. There's no reason why you can't be an author. It's such a fun job. You can write at home in your pajamas, you can write on your own, or you can write together, the way that Kevin and I write together. Do you like writing with me?
Yes, love it. We have to come up with some rules to write together. Well, we all actually do all of our writing in front of one screen, and yeah, it's really great. We pass the laptop back and forth.
We do lots of brainstorming and outlining, make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Before we actually sit down and write, we always brainstorm and make sure we have the same vision for the book, and that's actually one of my favorite parts.
And I actually think it makes the book much stronger by having both of our ideas. I was saying earlier, Kevin is so good at world building, which is not really something I'm as strong at. So any aspiring writers who maybe aren't sure how to get started, work with a friend, do a story together. You can alternate back and forth chapters. Maybe one of you is the dragon and the other one is the dragon dentist.
I like that. Alternating perspectives.
Yeah, so lots of different ways to go about writing books together.
In that book, I think the dragon dentist would love being a dragon dentist, and the dragon would be very grateful.
Yeah, all right. I think that is a fair assessment. So in the book, going from dentists and teeth to food, which I guess sort of makes sense as a link. In the book, there's a lot of food descriptions. So the book actually opens, I think I mentioned earlier, with Billy and his friends at a camp in the mountains, like a summer camp in the mountains in China, and there's so much delicious Chinese food. The camp was actually inspired by, I spent time as a teenager studying Chinese language and culture in a summer camp in Taiwan, and then also we spent some time in China, and then Kevin's family is originally from Hong Kong, so we drew on a lot of both of our own experiences around China and around the world to make sure the food sounded really delicious.
Loved writing about the food scenes there too. My mom, I love Chinese food, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but I love Chinese food. And so we like to put a lot of that in the books we write.
What's your favorite meal that's in the book?
Ooh, you know what? Dylan, one of our characters, loves pork buns. And I have to say, I love barbecue pork buns as well. They're called tasu bao.
So a pork bun is not like the kind of bun, it's not a sweet bun, it's more of a savory bun. For anyone who's not familiar, you can get it at dim sum. It's kind of like a fluffy dumpling, kind of doughy, stuffed with really delicious kind of sweet barbecue pork.
It's a treat.
Now I really want pork buns.
We can get some after this.
I would like to do that very much. I love a pork bun. My favorite meal description is there's something called mapo tofu, which is it actually means pockmarked lady, which is rude, but it is very.
It doesn't sound tasty.
It's very, very spicy tofu, and it's one of my all-time favorite things to eat. And again, our character Dylan, when he eats it, he's never had anything so spicy, so he's a little overwhelmed. But I love mapo tofu, so I want to make sure we included that.
Goes great with rice.
Yeah, really, yeah, it's nice on rice. So also one of the things when you're writing, you want to start thinking about, you know, all of the details. Like, what are your characters eating? What are they wearing? You know, we had to figure out later in the book when the kids aren't at camp, you know, what are they eating? How are they surviving? Because your characters, you know, they're gonna have to eat and sleep and stay alive, hopefully. So no, I definitely loved writing the food scenes. Would you, if you could jump into our book, would you jump in and go into Dragon Mountain and Dragon Realm?
You know, I would, knowing, well, I guess it'd be a different story. I'd have my own story.
Okay, separate from the story. You won't impact the story,
Yes,
would
100%.
you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd have my own dragon.
Yeah, which would be amazing. I think I also would want to go in because I too would want to have my own dragon. I think a lot of the reason we wrote this book was kind of dragon wish fulfillment, imagining, as you know, we were saying, what kind of dragons we would want and have, and what kind of dragons there might be and their powers. So we cannot wait to hear the dragons you come up with. So again, make sure you either write it in a paragraph, doesn't need to be long, or draw it, and then if you want.
One of my other favorite parts of writing the book was when this is not a spoiler, but basically at some point each of the kids has a power unlocked within them, and so I loved coming up with, well, what would the powers be for each of the kids?
Yeah, and so start thinking, maybe if you were to have a power, what would your power be? I think that's probably all the time we have, but thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I had fun. I like interviewing you.
Yes, I did too.
And
I think it went all right for the first interview.
Hopefully first of many. But we hope you enjoyed Dragon Mountain. Thank you so much for reading, and thanks so much for watching along. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.